and welcome to my craft room. I'm Shelly with J&S Hobbies and Crafts, and I have a fun birdcage project for us to do. I created this birdcage not too long ago. It just released, and with the idea of being able to place a flameless candle inside of it. Put the top back on, and the top won't slide off to the side. It has a raised sides here when we put it together, but you can put a flameless candle in it, or anything you'd like, or you can end up gluing this down if you want to put a fake plant or something in it. Glue it down and you can suspend it. This is a very easy project, and I'm just going to go through really quickly what I used in the making of this. And we'll start off with the Country Affair Birdcage Kit. That is this, and we will be painting the inside of the cage white and covering the outside with paper. The paper that I used was the Designs by Shellie Country Affair paper collection, and inside here a lot of fun stuff. You've got cutouts, the butterflies, you have rabbits, birds, hummingbirds, sentiments, a whole bunch of stuff. So I will pull this out really quick. Came out really nice, pretty spring colors. Anyway, you'll get, well, I'll be using this page to cover the base of it, and then there's some other colors. So there is a lot in here, 2 of each page. And there's also, I wanted to show you the cutout page where you can actually fussy cut around several different things. And a lot of these are pretty simple too, fussy cut. So the birds and the butterflies and whatever. So you can add as little or as much to yours that you would like. I did use up here the new butterfly charms. I just used a couple of them up in here. And then the rest of the embellishments, of course, they came from the paper collection. This is a fun project, good for gift giving or to set it on your side table to show off, whatever you want to do. I'm going to show you the products that I used in this, but this is a perfect opportunity to open up your flower drawer and match in some of those flowers with the paper collection. It really came out cute. Okay, oh, if you are wondering what this is for, and it is not glued down, the idea behind this is you can either stamp a quote or a sentiment in here, or you can cut out the inner white part. And as an example, here is one of the panels from inside the collection. I cut out the inside. You can mount a small picture back behind it. And I think that's really cute. So that's what that is. Okay, flowers that I used. And again, please check to see what you have in your drawers, because we tend to collect flowers and stash and we forget about them. So anyway, if you want an exact replica, this is what I've used. The Prima flowers. I used 3 different of the Kaisercraft mini paper blooms, little roses. This one is Sea Breeze, Buttercream, Coconut. And I've got Petaloo right here, Premier, and this is the cream, and it comes with the little leaves. For the door, which has a hinge, oh, and I wanted to talk about that. The little hinges are included in the kit. However, the hinge pins are not. I bypassed the hinge pins altogether, and I just glued this down, and this is pretty sturdy. So, and I just used my art glitter glue, and I used that for the wood as well. So you'll want a good wood glue if you don't have this type of glue. Folk Art white paint. I used some diamond stickles, and that was to accent my little cutout embellishments. I did use a little bit of bling just at the top. And for decorative purposes, because I'm not hanging mine, I did use the chain anyway. Bling. The door and the top. Now first I had painted these white, and then I went over it with the Liquid Leaf Classic Gold. When I remake this here, I'm not going to use that. I'm just going to do the white paint, but that is an option. And then check your stash for some flatback pearls. The ones I used were 2 sizes, and they are the domed. One is the 3/16 inch, and then the other one was the 1/4 inch wide ones. So, and I think that about covers it, other than having a little bit of ribbon there. So let's get started. So let's start off by opening our kit and laying out our pieces. You will have one piece that has the cutout for the door. You will have 3 sides, and the sides, the notches, they go down, okay? You're going to have 4 of the top of the roof of the cage, 4 of these. You will have a door, which goes to this part. The 2 small hinges, again, it does not come with hinge pins. And you will have a floor, and the DBS is face down. And you will have the top piece that sits on the top. There are skirting pieces here, and as you can see, there are 2 larger scallops, and there are 2 scallops right here that are slightly shorter than the other 2, as you can see. These are for the sides, the shorter ones. The slightly longer ones are for the front and the back. And then we have smaller scallops, same thing. 2 are going to be slightly longer than the other 2. So before you begin, these should just go right together. And make sure your pieces do, so I know that these just slide right on in there. And I'm just going to keep going around until I make sure that they all fit in there. That's the first thing. One thing you do need to know is that when you are painting, because we're going to start off by painting the inside of all the pieces. If you get your paint caught in the notches, it is going to make it harder for you to get this to slide in easily. So you want to make sure these inner notches are clear of paint. The inside, and we're going to cover the outside with paper. And I have a real easy trick for you to do that. It seems like if you're looking at this, oh my gosh, you're going to have us cut it all out. Yes, but I have an easy trick for that. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. So let's go ahead and start. This piece here you do not need to paint. Let's put our hinge off to the side. And again, I'm not going to do the top or the door gold this time. I want to do it white on my second cage that I did. So the inside is, if you were to look at your piece, you're going to have a very nice, smooth, cleaner looking front. If you were to flip it over, you will see the lines from where the laser made marks on the wood. That's our inside. So I'm going to flip these all over. First I'm going to lay something down here, and then I'm going to put a coat of white paint on the inside of all these pieces. These down here are scallops. These will need to be painted on both sides. And these as well, both sides. Okay, so I am going to get some things started, and I'm just going to put some glue right in here, and I can touch this up with paint when I'm done. but I'm just gonna, this is gonna be snug going in. It's designed to be snug. And then I can patch it up with some paint around here if needed. I think I'm still a little wet underneath there. So I'm gonna set this aside. Let's go ahead and grab our cage door and our 2 hinges. And you'll also want at this time maybe a couple binder clips to help. There are 2 sides to the door. The side where the hinge goes is wider. And all I'm going to do here is just put a little bit of glue. And you can use a binder clip to hold it down or clamp it. Down there. And all I'm going to do now is clamp it down to hold it, or use your binder clips, whatever's easiest for you. And I'm going to set this off to the side. So I've got all of my pieces painted for the inside. Before we go any further, let's go ahead and make sure that they all fit together. After we painted, make sure we don't have to get our craft knife in there to get some of the paint out of there. So this is fitting just fine. And I'm going to do the same thing with the top. Just kind of put my pieces together. Make sure that they're all fitting. And they do. Okay. Let's set these off to the side. We'll start with the front of the cage, which has the opening for the door. Okay, in our paper pack, let's grab this sheet. On the back, it looks like this. You'll want a craft knife and a little pad to use. You'll definitely want a new blade on yours. And let's grab a pencil really quick. So this is actually very easy. We don't have to trace in the notches. We're just going to go straight down, and we're not going to, let me pull this up, we're not going to go up and around that, because that's going to sit down. So all we're going to do is take our piece and bring it flush against the sides here. And I have the front of the cage with the opening for the door. So all I'm going to do is trace around this. However, like I said, we're not going to trace the notches, so I'm just going to make a mark with my pencil right here and here. All I'm going to do is put this on my paper cutter, cut straight over here, straight down. So it's going to end up being like a rectangle to fit over this. So let's do that. So what we're going to have here is a piece that is completely going to cover. Okay, I did use this for the front of my cage, even though we're going to cut out. So all I'm going to do here is place this down. And I'm going to move this over in case my cut was not accurate. I'm going to have some trimming to do, but this is the easiest way to cut for the inside here. And I'm just going to line that up, and I'm going to keep it down. First thing I'm going to do is just start dragging my craft knife down the edges. I'm not going to worry about this just yet. I'm just going to first get my sides cut. Okay, so this part we're just going to do like we would. Now, for the easiest way, I'm going to turn this, is you don't have to cut through all the way at the top. We're just going to score it. This is easier. Just run your tip of your blade down to make the little mark. It's much easier like this, at least I found. Just put it in there. Okay, now when you remove it, you will notice your cuts for this is good, but up here isn't. This is where I found it just to be easier. Okay, just, you can see the score lines. Just start dragging your, it's easier this way. Just run your craft knife across. And then we'll do it down here. And then what's going to happen is they will start popping out very easily. As you can see, I did my first one, it just popped right out. Now, because there's a print on here, it may be easier if you just turn it over, and you'd be able to see it better on this print where your lines are. Okay, so I did that, and now all I'm going to do is just push these through and remove them all. Okay, I'm just going to set this right off to the side for right now. One thing you'll want to do is just bring this on up and make sure that you have any trimmings that need to be done. If you're sticking way far out, farther than the side notch, you can just kind of clean it up. Okay, so this is done. One thing about these that I like using these scraps for is for cleaning up the glue, any glue squirting out from when we do assemble this. That's helpful. Okay, so the rest is pretty easy. We're going to do the same thing we did before, just placing it down on our blue paper. Our notch is facing down. I'm going to make a mark right here. So now when I put this on my paper cutter, I just cut straight across. I will then put this on here, back behind, and just start running my lines down this way, score across, and then I'm going to use the back to do what I did there to make it easier to get those, instead of fighting with it while, you know, trying to get in there. So let's do that. Okay, so I have all my pieces here done, and I'm just going to set these off to the side. On the original top, I actually used this polka dotted one print. On the other side is the birds. However, this to do this one, since I already used a polka dot, I am going to use the second page of this and use this print for the top. So I'm just going to do the same thing that I did with the other ones, making sure that when I place this down, you're actually not going to bring the corner of this to the left, because then you won't have enough to cover. I'm just going to make sure I have enough room, because remember, we're not going to trace out the notches there. So I'm just going to go like this. Hope that made sense. So now what I'm going to do is put this on my paper cutter, and I am going to cut here to here, all the way over and down. Now the easiest way that I found is, once I have my measurement for the bottom, is just cut straight across, and then I can cut this way and that way, and then I can turn this for my next piece around, fit it, make my marks, cut it. So let's go ahead and do that. Get all of our top pieces here. I've got all my pieces, And I'm just going to place it out, double check that all of these are going to cover everything. So that's what you should have. And be careful with your craft knife, especially with a new blade, and don't look over your shoulder while you're cutting, that's for sure. That's what I did. So all I'm going to do for this is the same thing I did before, making sure that I am flush with the sides here. And I'm going to do the same thing I did before, is cutting out these pieces. And then I'll score like I did before on the sides here, as well as across the top and the bottom. So let's get this all ready. We're about ready to, after this, to start assembling. Okay, so all my pieces are cut out. Let's take all of our side and front pieces, our paper, just set that off to the side. So remember, our white is going to go on the inside. The DBS is going to be down. Okay. All your pieces, make sure that they are fitting still, and they should because we checked them. So one thing that's going to be handy for you as soon as we apply glue is to have a rubber band to hold it all together. Let's back up for just a moment. We need to get our floor piece glued down first before we do anything. So with the floor piece, it's a little bit different. So I'm going to give you a measurement really quick. And I'm going to cut mine out of this paper, but we're going to want to cut a piece that's 3 7/8 of an inch by 3 7/8 of an inch. So let's do that. This piece that we just did should be able to lay right in here. You are going to have your wood border, and that should fit nicely. So if you were to put your fingers like this around, it isn't overhanging over those little notch areas. So let's apply glue and glue that down. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put a thin line of glue just right on here. Now remember, our tabs, they go down. So we're going to put just a little bit right there. And we're just going to place this right in there. Now these are these little scrap pieces that we cut. That's where I said they're good to clean up any bit of glue that squirts out. So I'm just going to hold that for a second there. And while I'm holding that, I'm just going to go right on over here and do the same thing. And I do need to get it on these notches too. Right in there. That's going to hold now. This is going to make my life easier. Okay, so when this fits together, let's go ahead and get that side right in here. And the metal tip on this glue bottle really helps. So just fit them in. It's like a little puzzle. Slide them in. Oops, hello. There we go. Okay. That's going to slide right in there. Get some on here. So all we're going to do is just keep going around and doing the same thing. Sliding it in, gluing the pieces, and then coming back and cleaning up any glue that seeps out. Okay, grab this rubber band, put it around to hold that while it dries. So I'm going to grab these pieces next. I can move those out of the way. And this is the same thing, where we're just going to be applying some glue. And fitting them together like a little puzzle piece there. And I don't think I need a rubber band for that. I'm just going to set that off to the side. We're going to give these about, I'd say, 5-10 minutes to dry, and then we are going to start placing the paper on there. The door will be the last thing that we attach. Okay, I think mine's dry enough. I'm going to go ahead and start gluing my pieces down. Now, one thing is if you came up a little bit short from the bottom or a little short from the top, whatever, don't worry about it, because these little trim pieces will be glued down after we are done placing our paper. So I found it to be easiest just to apply my glue right on this. And just kind of go around. And then once I'm done applying more glue, I'm just going to place my piece down. And I'm going to do that all the way around with my cutouts. So let's do that. I'm going to apply the rest of my glue, and then I'm going to apply my piece here, and I'll show you about the edges. Okay, so I got my glue down, and when it comes to the edges over here, you're just going to take your fingers and make sure that your paper is meeting. Later on, if you want to go back and get some glue in here, go back and ink your edges, you can, but I don't think it's necessary. I am moving on to the top, and I'm going to do the same thing I did before, is just start applying the glue and placing my pieces. Let's go ahead and apply glue to the top and place your piece. And we're going to let that dry. Okay, so let's add our top border piece, which also serves as a notch so that when we do put down the lid, your lid doesn't go flying off. Okay, so all we're going to want to do here is make a pencil mark about 1/4 of an inch down on the inside there of all your pieces. That is the mark of which, where that line is, this is going to get glued down. So it gives you an even 1/4 inch overhang all the way around. Okay, I'm going to lay my first one here. And the easiest way to do this is just put your glue right on the front of your thing. And now I'm just going to place this down, turn it around, and take a look. Now you're going to have an overhang on each side. You want to make that even. And I think I'm about even there for the sides. Okay, the next long piece. This is the back now. Just going to place that down. Turn this over so I can line myself up. Now this glue works really good with the wood and the paper. But in case you are not even for whatever reason, you know, watch your sides there. You can always turn this upside down too to make sure you are even. So, and these are what fit in between your pieces there. And if you have to go back and touch up with your paint or whatever, do so. So I'm just going to make sure I am even here. It looks like it. Okay, I'm going to let that fully dry. And in the meantime, this is a good time for me just to grab a little bit of my paint, and if I've chipped any of my sides or whatever, I can just kind of touch it up a little. Now, with the larger scallops, it's the same thing. You have a larger, which is slightly longer on each side, and then you have some that are slightly smaller. We're going to do the longest ones on the front. Now how this fits is really simple. We're just going to put some glue here at the bottom. Make sure you get enough there. Okay, so this just places even flush with the side and the bottom. And then just scoot it over. So that's how you know how far up or down. And then just leave enough for an overhang on each side. Clean up any glue. I'm going to flip this over to the back. Do the same thing. Grab the longest one. Make sure I'm even there. And then just, whoops, I did not grab the longest one. That's the longest one. Just make sure I'm flush and then scoot it on over. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. I'm going to clean up any glue that's seeped out, and I'm going to let that dry. Let's add our door, and this is real simple. Check to make sure that your paper is not overhanging over your thing there, otherwise your door might not fit. Your door should fit pretty comfortably in here, okay? So once you get it glued down and let the glue dry, it should pop in and out like this one, where you can just... Okay, so this is going to take a moment for it to dry, but we can work on the other parts. So I just added some glue. I'm going to place this in there, and it should hold. And I'm just going to let that sit. Let's check, make sure that we fit in here good, and I do. So it won't, if I'm putting this somewhere and somebody knocks it, I'm not going to knock my slide off. That's why I do that with the little lips. So you just kind of have to fit it in there, and it's nice fit. Okay, I think that we can start decorating. So let's get on to that. The first flower pack that I'm going to get into is this. So I'm just going to get everything out of there. Have it set off to the side, what I need. Okay, I don't know if this will make it easier, doing it like this, keeping my pieces together, but I am going to use a hot glue gun to make things a little easier, quicker in tacking. So I'm just going to add a little bit of hot glue to my first leaf. I'm going to grab another leaf, and I'm just going to glue that right on down like that. I may have to prop this up just a little bit here so you can see better. Maybe you can see a little better. Okay. I need to get into the DBS butterflies. So I've got 2 butterflies here that I pulled out, smaller ones. And I'm just going to glue this one right like that. Oops, sliding. Now you can add little pearls to your butterfly, and that's one thing I wanted to do. So I added a couple of my smaller pearls there. I almost forgot. I cut 2 pieces of small bling on the row, and actually I'm going to add that. I'm handicapped with this Band-Aid on me right now. And I'm just going to put that there. I should have put this down before I did the butterfly, but I did not. So all I'm doing is adding it like right in there. Okay. Cut this down a little bit. Now the next thing that I'm going to just keep doing is grab my different flowers and just start layering them in. And what I'm going to do is leave room here for my sentiment, creating memories. And we're going to go and actually grab those right now. I think it might be easier if we had those all laid out, as well as you hold the key to my heart and down here. Let's get our cutouts. Page of our paper collection. We're just going to cut out creating memories. You hold the key to my heart, and then down, let's see which one. I used part of this one, so you'll just cut out this blue one. It says Country Bliss too. And the last thing that we want to get off of this page is this little tag with bird cage. Okay, the cutout sheet. We're going to want to get this hummingbird right here. He's got blue. This hummingbird with the blue. This large butterfly. And these 2 smaller butterflies. Also in your paper collection, now you have a choice. You can just cut out this bunny and some sunflowers if you'd like. I actually ended up cutting this bunny out with the sunflowers, and that's what I used on the front of mine. So I'll let you choose. Do you want to cut this one out from here, or just cut out some of the pieces from the clip art sheet? I've got all my cutouts done. I'll add my stickles when the project is complete. Okay, Country Bliss, that just goes right down onto here, and I'm just going to cut it to fit. Part of it is going to be covered. Okay, the rabbit is just going to come here. Make sure that your rabbit's head is not in the line of fire of your door. You hold the key to my heart. That just gets placed right here. It should be a good fit. That looks pretty straight. Your small butterfly, you can just glue that right on your door, right like so. If your hinges are not completely dry, maybe use something pointy to keep it down there. Okay, the smaller hummingbird is going to go right here. Whoops. Looks like I'm going to take this off after all. Unless I can get this to prop up, because I want to be able to show you. I think if I prop it up like this, it'll be okay. You can see. Okay, the other two butterflies and the other hummingbird, let's just set those off to the side. And then we can continue on adding some flowers. So I'm going to get my packs of flowers ready to go here. I'm going to grab one of these. Stick that down right here. I'm just going to start grabbing flowers now and gluing them down. With the smaller flat back pearls, all I'm going to do is glue these right here. You can add as little or as much as you'd like. Okay, so I'm going to move some of this out of the way, and you can even add more stuff if you would like to. The stickles. All I do with the stickles is put it right on the edges of the wings. So the only other thing that I really would need to do is add a chain to the top if I wanted to, like I did for this one. I do see that I wanted another yellow flower in here. Now, there is another butterfly that you can add right up here if you wish. So that concludes our tutorial. You'll just want to make sure that your hinges are glued down really good. Remove any glue strings that you might have. Let your stickles dry. But I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. I had a lot of fun making it, and now I'm going to place one on my coffee table and put a little flameless candle in it. Until next time, I will see you then. Thanks for watching.